Hi friends, welcome back to Faith and Arrow Homestead. My name is Jaylee and I have a quick pregnancy video here for you. I am 31 weeks pregnant and some change, almost 32 weeks, and being in my third trimester, it was time to test for gestational diabetes, and I want to talk a little bit about that. First, I'm just going to give you a quick little caveat here and say that I am in no way insinuating in this video that you should not test for gestational diabetes. I think that everybody should test for gestational diabetes. It is often a symptomless condition, and you may have it and have absolutely no idea that you have it. So I'm not insinuating that you shouldn't test. You should. However, I did not want to drink the sugary drink. I'm going to be honest with you. It's kind of funny because yes, there's all sorts of preservatives and it's really not the best for you. And for those reasons, and I could get into the science behind it and the research, and I could give you all the facts, but honestly, I just didn't want to. You know, it's funny because my OB and I talked about it, and I asked if they offered the fresh test, I think it's called, which is like the healthier version of it, and he said no, so I'd have to do just like the traditional test. And I didn't love that, didn't want to, but I was like, okay, I mean, it's just the one drink, you know, whatever. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And then every time I would like have a couple of hours free to go do it, I would just get this feeling that I just didn't want to. And I was like, okay, I don't exactly know why I'm feeling this way, but whatever. If I'm feeling like I don't want to, then I'm not going to push myself to do it. So I went back at my next appointment and he asked me about it, and I said, I really don't want to do it. Is there anything else that I can do besides drink that drink to test for gestational diabetes? And he said, yeah, you can. He said, you can test your blood sugar the old-fashioned way. He said, it's a real pain to get everything approved through insurance if you don't want to pay for the supplies. I really just recommend drinking the drink. And so I left and I was like, okay, I don't want to have to do anything involving insurance. I hate ever having to call them or do anything regarding that. So I was like, I'll just drink the drink. And again, I just could not get myself to go do it. So then I started doing a little bit of research. Come to find out, you can buy all of the supplies that you need to test your blood sugar on Amazon for like $40. And so I did. I bought all of the stuff, and at my next OB appointment, I said, and this was going back, you know, 24 weeks or something. I was like 24 weeks when we started talking about this. So at the next appointment, I said, hey, I'm not going to drink the drink. I'm going to test my blood sugar. Can you tell me what it is I need to do? And he said, great, fine. Yes. And so I'm just going to kind of briefly talk you through it because I want people to know that this is an option. You know, women's healthcare is so interesting because you hear what other women are doing and you think that it's the norm, and then you have these doctors who don't really offer any alternatives or promote alternatives, and you don't even know that there are other options out there. So that's really why I'm making this video. So I'm going to kind of walk you through this really quickly just so you know that you have options. On Amazon, I bought the Contour Next One kit. And this was the one that had the best reviews that everybody was really recommending. And so I ended up going with this one. I think this wasn't the cheapest one, but I'm glad that I got it. I actually really liked this. I'll have it linked down in the description. It comes with the monitor. Here, I'll show you. I've got it. It comes with a little carrying case. So it comes with the monitor itself here. It comes with I should probably know the terms for this video. Let's see. It comes with the blood glucose meter, which is what this is. It comes with 20 of the little test strips, which are these here. And these little strips you put into your glucose meter, and this is where you put your blood. So as soon as you put in a strip, it turns on and is waiting for me to add blood to this. It came with 20 of those. I did have to buy an extra one of these because he wanted me to do this for 2 weeks. And so that is, overall I needed 56 strips and it only came with 20. So I had to buy another one of these. And then, yes, that's what I was looking for. The Microlet lancing device. So this is called a lancing device. And this is the thing that pricks your finger. I also had to buy extra of these. What are these called? Just lancets. So that's the lancing device, and these are the lancets. So these load into the lancing device, and this is what pricks your finger. And it only came with 20 of the lancets. So again, I needed 56 of them, so I had to buy a box of these. And I ended up buying the refills. Means that I have a bunch left over, so I have more than I need, but maybe, you know, I'll just put it in the medicine cabinet. But anyway, so yes, I bought all of this stuff on Amazon. I'll have it all linked down in the description. And what he wanted was, he wanted me to take my blood sugar in the morning before I ate anything. So it had to be fasting. He said I didn't have to do it as soon as I opened my eyes, but I just had to do it before I ate anything. And then I had to do it 1 hour after breakfast, 1 hour after lunch, and 1 hour after dinner. So for 2 weeks, I had to prick my finger and do this whole thing 4 times a day. And it was, I mean, it's a commitment. Like if you're going to do this and not go drink the sugary drink and wait an hour, you really have to commit to it. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. I really liked doing it. So, funny story, when I went to my OB appointment today, I waited to film this video until I was done doing it and talked to my OB to make sure that A, I did it right, and B, that I did not have gestational diabetes, because if I did, he'd probably still make me drink this drink. So I was like, let me make sure that this works before I actually tell the internet about it. But anyway, when I went to the OB, the power was out. I don't know if it was a storm or somebody hit a pole or what. So I had all of my sheets written out, and he was like, normally we would just photocopy this, but can I keep this? And I was like, yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. This Contour Next One device has an app. And so the glucose meter connects to your phone via Bluetooth and uploads the readings into the app. So that's why I was like, yeah, you can keep my papers because I have all the information recorded in my app, but now I don't have them to show you. So I just did a quick one to give you an example. This was yesterday's. So I just wrote Jaylee's blood glucose levels, and then I wrote the day and the date, and then I wrote all of the times. So at 6:08 a.m., this was my fasting one, it was 83. At 9:09 a.m., that was an hour after breakfast, it was 108. At 1:34 p.m., that was after lunch, it was 115. And at 7:07 p.m. after dinner, it was 100. So I only had one number out of all of the numbers for the 2 weeks come back as high. It was an after dinner number. And it was so interesting to me. I loved learning about my blood sugar and what affects it and what doesn't. I'm really big on like freshly milling my own flour, but I do still like eat out sometimes. We had pizza. We went out to a local restaurant for lunch one of these days that I was doing this. So I thought I was gonna see a big difference between homemade food and takeout food, or something, a really sugary meal or a really protein heavy meal. I thought I was gonna see all of these big fluctuations. I really didn't. My blood sugars were pretty consistent across the board day to day, except one day. And you wanna know what happened that one day? I didn't really eat. I didn't eat all of my breakfast. I had a really pathetic lunch. And then for dinner, I carb loaded on like 3 pieces of pizza. And it was my dinner number that was really high. But I don't think it was because I ate a bunch of pizza. I think it was because I hadn't eaten all day. So my blood sugars were really unstable. So anyway, the only reason I'm telling you any of this is because it was just so fascinating. I really enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed having something to write down. I like doing stuff like this. I always really loved school. Like I like writing. I like keeping track of things. I like being organized. So it was really fun. I had a good time. I didn't mind pricking my finger at all. I really do recommend this kit. The lancing device that it came with, easy to use, and it didn't hurt. Occasionally, like if I would forget where I did it and poke the same spot twice, like in one day, it would be like a little sore. But really, for the most part, it didn't hurt. It was easy for me to do. And yeah. So as I said, I brought it to my OB today and I handed it to him, and he was like very organized. And I was like, thank you. And I told him how much I enjoyed doing it, and he laughed. And then he looked at my numbers and he was like, yeah, these look great. Good job. You're fine. And I said, okay, cool. So it did work out for me. And I think I probably would have known right away if something was wrong. I'm not going to give you any ranges or numbers because I am not a doctor and I don't want to sway you or put anything in your head. So Google it yourself or ask your doctor what your range should be. But I knew what my range needed to be at any given time, and so I would have known within the first couple of days, oh, these numbers are not good. Okay, I still probably would have continued doing it anyway just to have the information, but I imagine if my numbers turned out not good, they probably would have asked me to still do the drink so that they could have their own determination of that before proceeding with like treatment. I'm guessing. Nobody ever said that to me. I'm just guessing. So, you know, it worked out for me doing this. I was able to avoid doing the drink, and I actually had a lot of fun doing it in the meantime. So anyway, I just wanted to make a quick video talking about it and giving you some information because, again, I know that these options are not always given. Like when he was telling me that it was time to do the glucose test, there was no, okay, it's time to do the glucose test. You can either go to the lab and drink this drink and wait an hour, or if that doesn't interest you, you can monitor your blood glucose levels at home using blah, 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 and this is how you get it through the insurance. That's not how that conversation went. And it was only through my own prompting that it was revealed to me that there is another option. So I just wanted to share that with you, especially being in the homestead community. I know that many of us try to avoid all of the heavy preservatives. And I've heard podcasters talk about how the nature of the test with the really, really, really high sugar content can actually be damaging. I'm not going to get into that. I don't feel well versed enough on that information to try to talk you out of doing the blood glucose test, the drink. Do your own research, and if you feel convicted about it, then pursue this as an option. I also can't say for sure that every single doctor's office would be okay with this, but I don't see why they wouldn't be. So if your doctor's office is giving you pushback on this, I'd be like, but why? Because I like having options. So I want that for you. Anyway, this was quick. Thanks for listening. And if you have any questions, if you also did this, or if you have any opinions on why not to do the glucose drink, I would like those things down in the comments. Thanks so much. Can't wait to see you in my next video. Have faith and keep moving forward. Bye.